welcome to Australia, welcome to Australian Book Travels, and welcome to this week, book reviews. 3 we have this week. Now I am a little late today. This is going to happen. I think I have to resolve that the book reviews video will be uploaded on a Monday at some time. Originally I wanted it to be right on 9 o'clock so that you could all enjoy it for morning tea or lunch, but because I'm now videoing a lot more out at events and towns for you, that's occurring a lot at late week, early weekend and over the weekends, and so I'm not getting the opportunity to video these on a Sunday or Saturday or Sunday for you and upload for Monday. So apologies, I am a bit late, but I think this is going to happen. So if you're aware that the book review videos will be up at some point on a Monday, and then hopefully you won't be disappointed. Okay, 3 books this week. Let's get into it. Rumer Godden, Black Narcissus. This is a Virago modern classic, and it was published in 2020, I think. Let me just double check that for you. Fairly sure it was 2020. Yes, 2020. And the original Black Narcissus was written and published in 1939. Now, this Rumer Godden was a 20th century writer, fairly prolific writer. She wrote over 60 fiction and non-fiction novels. She was born in early 1900s, and I think she died in the 1990s. I think the late 1990s. She travelled an awful lot and spent a lot of time in India and Kashmir in her lifetime. This is a wonderful book. I'll go into it a little bit more later. I'll just tell you the basic story. It is about Anglican nuns setting up a convent. I think it's the convent of St. Faith in the Himalayas, in a valley in the Himalayas. And they set up in an old palace of one of the Raj. And there had been Benedictine monks who had set up previously in this palace, but had mysteriously just left. And toward the end of the book, you understand perhaps why they left. This is really interesting. It really is, it tells you the story of the nuns in relation to and how they relate to the locals. It's also, I believe, a story of repression or repressed feelings and emotions that a sect or a religion can bring about, for want of a better term, can on an individual human. It's really interesting. It's probably not a book for everyone. It could be a little slow for some. It is a little slow, but for me it was beautifully slow. It was poetically slow, but it could be a little slow for some, and not quite overt in its delivery, in its storytelling. It's a beautiful story. I really enjoyed it. This was one that I read, I think it was last year or the year before. But look, I really enjoyed it. I think be careful what mood you're in, because it does have some issues of mental health in here, and it could potentially be there could be an element of darkness here for some. So I would be very careful. However, I enjoyed it. I think it's a lovely story. As I say, it is slow, but it has this beautiful interaction between the nuns and the locals. I think it was well written. I think it's beautiful, but like I say, it's probably not for everyone, and you may have to be a little bit thoughtful if you intend reading it. But for me, it was great. Now, the cover image here, I'm just reading on the back here for you. It's from the Victoria and Albert Museum. I absolutely love this cover. I think it's beautiful, and the end papers are just that sort of mustard. It is, let me tell you how many pages it is all up. It is 258. So, not too bad, but not an overnight read, I think. It was good, but perhaps be careful if you're not feeling the happiest. It can be a little, just slightly dark, but that's that one. It's quite a good book. Now, this next one, many of you may have already read it, and I don't wonder why, because it is absolutely brilliant. It is by the American Mortals. It's A Gentleman in Moscow. Now, this was actually published in 2016. I bought it a few years ago and just had it on my to-be-read pile. And just thought, I'll get to that. Now, in the meantime, I had actually been reading some reviews, and some people were saying, "Oh, it's not true. It's that couldn't have happened, and that wouldn't have happened." But I think what we must remember is fiction is another word really for fantasy. And in the genre of fiction, it ranges from very close to the sort of truth or what would ordinarily happen in life, right through to quite a bit of storytelling there, before you then get into the next genre of fantasy. So always, if you don't already, I'm probably telling Grandma how to suck eggs, really. But always remember that fiction is just that. There is the ability to go outside the realms of reality. This, I would suggest, only does that in a very thin thread. This is about a count just after the Russian Revolution. This is based in 1922, I think. He survives really the Bolsheviks' slaughter of the bourgeoisie and royalty, and he is under house arrest. The reason why, and you find out later in the book, the reason why he really escapes the terrors of the Russian Revolution is because he did write a poem, or he's meant to have written a poem, in support of the Bolsheviks. Or it's believed, they believe it supports their cause. So he escapes being shot, and he is under house arrest for the rest of his life in the Metropole, which is a hotel in Moscow. I couldn't have, when I read some of the reviews, I was really dubious, because when some books when they are so well applauded and there is this sort of mass hysteria, which there has been a little bit on this, and there is a movie that has come out with Ewan McGregor in the lead role, or it's coming out, I think. But when there is that sort of hysteria, I do actually get a little bit put off, because I think, oftentimes when I read the books where this mass hysteria has been about, oftentimes they disappoint me, to be honest. They really disappoint me, and I think, why did I read that? I've just probably wasted a few hours of my life. But and I don't always feel that. You don't always waste time reading, even if it's a really bad book that you think is a really badly written book or a really terrible storyline. You're still getting something out of it. You know that that's the genre you don't like, or that's the author that you wouldn't read again, or you always get something out of it. But I have been really disappointed in some books where this hysteria has enveloped. This one, no. This is brilliant. It is beautifully written, beautifully. There are so many stories within this story. There is laughter, witty, so witty, and just the Count is absolutely just a beautiful person and very well liked. And throughout the novel, you find out why he's so well liked through his actions and his words. There are real bits of not just poetry, but there are elements of this that you will take away. There are phrases and sentences in here that you will hold dear for the rest of your life. It is absolutely beautiful. It is the type of book that I was happy to get back to. It wasn't, quick, I want to know what happens. It wasn't like that. It's a slow moving, but it's a slow moving, but it has a pace to it. And each chapter has its own beauty that you just want to savor. You don't necessarily want to rush to the next chapter. I wanted to read it, don't get me wrong, but it was so beautiful. I just wanted to immerse myself in this book. It is one of the best that I have read for a long time. It's just beautiful. And as we all know, I love food, and the Count really savors good wines, good beverages, and good food, really good food. So that was a joy for me as well. I loved that throughout the book. I would recommend you read this. It really is a lovely, heartwarming, sad, uplifting, beautiful, poetic book. Absolutely do yourself a favour. It is beautiful. It is... I'll give you the details. I'm getting all wrapped in telling you about this. As I say, I think it was published in 2016. I bought it a few years ago, and I've just read it this year. It was sitting on my to-be-read pile. It is 495 pages, so it's a decent-sized book. It will take you... well, it depends on how fast you read, but it took me a couple of days to read it. And this one is published by Windmill Books, and it was published, in 2000. No. It was first published in 2016, but I think this one was 2021. So do yourself a favour. It's absolutely beautiful story. The people he meets along the way, the friends he makes in this hotel, the adventures he has in the hotel, and then the beauty of the ending. It was absolutely brilliant. I loved it, and it has encouraged me to read Armour Tau's other book, The Rules of Civility. So when I get a chance, I'll be buying that and reading it. Absolutely beautiful. Now, the other one is not a novel. It's more of musings, a little bit of memoir. This is from Coast and Cove by Anna Koska, an artist's year in paint and pen. The book was a little bit damaged when I bought it. It's just got a few sort of oily marks on it, I think. I don't think it might be the cover, but it's just... feel like it's a little bit marked, but I don't think it is. I think that's just the cover, the way it is. Anyway, this is absolutely beautiful. Anna lives in England. She's an artist. She wrote originally from Forest and Farm, I think it was, and that's when it was musings about her life in the countryside and her artwork in the countryside. In this one, Anna and her family moved to the coast in England and I'll just show you some of that's her beautiful paint colours and some of her little seashells and things. But she she talks about her just her life on the coast and establishing herself on the coast, but it's done in sort of just a few pages at a time, and then she talks about her drawings, and there are some little poems and things like that, and just some daily, not daily, but musings or findings on particular days. So you could actually read it perhaps even seasonally, or you could read it by the months that she writes in, although this one's December. But these are her drawings, and look, I have this by my bedside, and I read they're not really chapters, they're just a few pages at a time. They're absolutely beautiful, and she just talks about her life and settling in her new home with her family. Oh yes, here we go. There's winter. So it does, hang on, what have I got here? I don't think the first one was autumn. Let's have a look. I can't remember now. Oh yes, it is. Ha, I fib. How about that? So it is in autumn, winter, and spring and summer. Yep. So look, it's just, these are some of her drawings there, and the colours on the pages to designate the different seasons. It's just and different things that she wants to highlight throughout the book. It's just beautiful. It really is a lovely something to read just before you're going to sleep. If you're reading, say, a novel, and then you think, oh, I don't want to quite start another chapter, but I'd like to read something, definitely Anna Koska's book. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, it's a real musings, and perhaps even like a commonplace book in a way, a journal or sort of thing. But yeah, look, it's really lovely. I recommend it. Now this is by Pavilion. It's hardback. You know I love my hardbacks. And hang on, I'll just tell you when this was. I think this was just last year, actually. Nope. First published in 2022. So again, I lead you astray. And the Forest and Farm was a couple of years before that. I'm ordering... look, I just came across this accidentally when I was buying something else at Stoneman's book room in Castlemaine. I came across this and I thought, this is absolutely delightful. So I bought this and then realised that Anna had written from Forest and Farm. So I will be purchasing that. But that's previous to this. This is before this one. But I really don't think it will make any difference. They're a standalone, really. Absolutely beautiful books. So that's those three for today. We have The Black Narcissus. I recommend it, but perhaps a little word of warning, be careful what sort of mood you're in when you read this. It can be just a little bit dark, just slightly. And maybe, just be careful, I think, when you read it. It's not horrible or bad or anything, but it could be just a little bit, it could just bring you a little bit more down, perhaps. Maybe not, but just a word of warning. And Gentleman in Moscow, absolutely brilliant. Loved it. Uplifting, sad, happy, just poetic, just beautiful. And From Coast and Cove, an absolutely beautiful book that you can read, which I'd forgotten, you can read seasonally. But I'm reading just a few pages a night and enjoying it, absolutely enjoying it. So, by the way, Anna Koska does have an Instagram account because she does sell her artwork, I think. So she has an Instagram account and possibly Facebook. You may have to check that, but I know that she has an Instagram account for sure. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so that's it. I will see you, hopefully I will see you on Saturday for the next travel video. I'm editing that over the next few days, so I'm going to really get my skates on and go out there and edit. I have to do this one first and get it up for you today. And then I will see you the following Monday for either another book haul or I like to call it a book harvest. I know generally people call it a book haul. I like to call it a book harvest, or another lot of book reviews. I may even try and do another book harvest later this week if I get time, but I am travelling out again this week on multiple days to film for you. So these videos you will see over the coming weeks, but of course it's taking time to video them, and that cuts into my time to edit and do the book reviews and the book harvests. Anyway, I really hope you have a wonderful week or a few days when I next see you. Do happy reading, do eat good food. I've been really enjoying my preparing my meals and eating good food, as I always do. What am I kidding? It's not just now, it's always love my good food and fresh and healthy. So good eating, happy reading, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, take care. Bye for now.